Hi everyone, it's Brian Akeem here. Welcome to my 23rd live stream, and today is June the 9th. How's everyone doing tonight? Let's see. Let's see. We have Epic Zombie Killer. How's it? Hey, how's it going, bro? Really good. Epic. I just came from work and I ate something, so I'm doing really good. Let's see. DeRosa says I guess. Hey, DeRosa. Let's glad you can make it. Dan says, hey guys. Let's see. Dan says, by the way, guys, I played episode 5, the finale, as well now, so we can talk about the end of season 3 now as well. Well, that's great, Dan. I'm glad you played the finale. What did you think of it? I'm just curious. All right, so I guess let's see. I guess we're gonna have to. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about my choices that I made in episode 3. What, in a way, I believe is canon, as well as obviously the problems that I had with season 3. Besides the obvious, Clementine is not the main character. Um, so in episode 3, Above the Law, we get the flashback with Kate and Javier. They're in the neighborhood walking around, and they're trying to get some, like this. What was it? A propane tank, gas, and it's empty, and they almost get killed by this like Walker kid that's actually a friend of Gabe's, and like Kate gets upset, and like I comfort her, and that's pretty like we get a flashback of Javier's story. I don't know, the whole Kate thing. I never saw her as a love interest. Let's see. Mega Matt says, "What's up? Hey, Mega Matt, glad you made it. Um, yeah, I really appreciate it. I mean, we're just I think we're gonna talk about episodes 3, 4, and 5 in the stream. This is probably gonna be a long stream, honestly, if we're gonna talk about all 3 episodes. Let's see. Dan says, I'm very disappointed about the finale, to be honest. That's, yeah, I'm sorry, Dan. I'm sorry to hear that, but I mean, I was too, and we'll get into that. Absolutely. Dan says, hey, Matt. All right, so let's see. So in season 3, I did not romance or like intend to romance Kate at all. And there's a big reason why I didn't. She's Javier's sister in law, and that would be kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like, what do you guys think? That's a big reason why I didn't. Like, if I was in Javier, what I mean? Like, if I was in Javier's position, you know what I mean? If I was in a zombie apocalypse and, you know, like I was surviving with my sister in law, I just, you know what I mean? I could never do that. She's family, but she doesn't have, you don't have to, romance you know what I mean? Your sister in law. It's just weird. So that's why I didn't do it with Javier. It's just really weird. Let's see. Mega Matt says one of the worst products with the Walking Dead name on it. Definitely Mega Matt. And it stinks. Like, this is just as bad as the Michonne game. Like, the Michonne game is on there as well. But the good news is that season 4 is just so much better. Like, season 4 is like it's fantastic. It's like all the way back to season 1 good. Like, it's crazy. Dan says, yeah, the Kate stuff was a bit weird. LOL. Yeah, exactly, Dan. She talks about how all those signs you gave me, they meant nothing, and I don't know what she's talking about. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Kate hugged me in episode 3 at the beginning because she almost, or no, Javier almost died because that Walker kid, and she got upset, scared, and like, okay, my Javier, I was always acting like a brother to her. You know what I mean? Like, if there was an option in the game that is more romance, I didn't know that because I didn't act inappropriate to Kate at all. I just treated her like a sister in law. That's how I would be in real life. Like, I mean, I thank God that I'm not in a zombie apocalypse and nothing has happened to my brothers. But if I was, with my sister in laws, you know what I mean? Like, I can never do that to my brothers. You know what I mean? It's just, that's why my Javier didn't do it either. I don't know. Telltale must have thought that everyone would romance their sister-in-law in this game, which is, I don't know. That's just weird. Let's see. Megamat says Michonne game is still worse though. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Megamat, and the fact that they couldn't even tie Michonne in this game somehow is just disappointing too. Dan says, can't wait to play season 4 though. Yeah, absolutely, Dan. It is amazing. And like, I don't want to, I mean, it's not a spoiler, but there's going to be like, I mean, I could tell you if you want, like that there's going to be two characters that you're going to meet in season four that are going to be very, like very very important if you want. Like I can just say their names if you want, but there's a lot of important characters in season four, but there's like two that are really important that stick out to me. So yeah, and all right, so back to the episode. There's Javier and Kate go back to their house. David hasn't returned in 3 months. In the zombie apocalypse, and man, I could not stand Gabe's voice. Gabe, as a 10-year-old kid, does not sound. He didn't sound 10. You know what I mean? He sounded terrible. Like they couldn't even get a different voice actor for him. And I didn't really like the flashback scene that much because like one of the things that bugged me is that like you see Javier looking at like a baseball that he had and a baseball bat from his from his past, and he doesn't take the baseball bat. I'm like, okay, what? Then what was the point of that scene? They're supposed to show us that these characters are changing the zombie apocalypse. Just I don't know. That's just weird. Like, why would you leave a bat in your house in a zombie apocalypse? That's not smart. So anyway, back to the present. Oh yeah, so we come across David, and he's at the gates of the new frontier. David takes Kate inside. She's been shot, and then Javier and everyone else go into quarantine. I don't understand why they can't check them for bites just outside the gate. That doesn't really make much sense. So anyway, what happens is that the characters are talking in quarantine and they want to be let out, and David says, Javier, you need to play along. They're like the leaders are going to talk to you. So it's like Clint and Joan and the doctor guy. I kind of forgot his name, but he says to play along because he finds out Marianne died and he wants to punish that guy Badger. Let's see. Dan says, sure, tell me. Okay, Dan. And like I said, these are not spoilers, and no one say anything about these characters. But in season 4, there's going to be two characters, and their names are Lewis and Violet, and they're going to be very important in season 4. So, yeah, Dan, that's all I'm going to say. When you come across those characters in season 4, just be excited and, just be thinking in your head, okay, Brian told me about them. These are going to be important characters. I should think more with my, choices with them or what I say to them, things like that. So that's all I'm going to say. Let's see. Oh, Mega Matt says Last of Us 2 gameplay looks so good. Even though I know the leaks, I still want to play it. Yeah, I'm sorry that that you saw the leaks, Mega Matt. I know some people, I don't know if you looked at it intentionally or if someone spoiled it for you, but I hate it when people spoil and leak things. It's like, why leak it? It's only a few months away. I that stinks. You know what I mean? People should not leak it when it's so close. Dan says, I know, right? I'm pumped. I'll definitely do a review for the first game before the new one comes out. Wait, Dan, what are you talking about? I'll definitely do a review of the first game. You mean the episode or before the new one comes out? Yeah, I'm sorry, Dan. Are you talking about Last of Us or yeah, I'm a little confused. Mega Matt says, if you watch PewDiePie play season 3, all it is Gabe hate. LOL. Yeah, I couldn't stand it. Gabe, he totally ratted me out to Trip and Eleanor that I, shot Conrad. And I do not understand why he did that. That is completely out of character. You know what I mean? There's no reason for him to do that. The only reason they did that was they wanted to say, hey, your choice in episode 2 needs to be brought up back again at some point. And that's so ridiculous. It doesn't make sense why he sells out Javier, his own uncle. That doesn't make sense. Dan says The Last of Us is incredible. Yeah, I agree, Dan. The thing is, it shouldn't have taken this long for a sequel, but I kind of understand, it was supposed to come out sooner, but delays and stuff. But I will say, it looks like I've seen the videos. It looks like they're putting so much heart and soul and quality in the series. It's all open world. That's what a Walking Dead game should be. Open world, awesome looking cutscenes, great story, awesome characters. That's what it should be. We need an open world Walking Dead game. it is past due at this point. Don't get me wrong, the Telltale games are good, but season three is an example of why we need why the store like you know what I mean why choice based games doesn't always work because like no decisions mattered in season three, and I'm gonna get to that soon. Megamat says it sure is, and Dan says I saw that. Um, oh, I guess you're talking about PewDiePie. Yeah, I used to watch PewDiePie, but I stopped. He's I don't know, he's just not that interesting anymore to me. Like his videos and games he does, I'm just not as interested as I used to be. So anyway, we go to meet Joan, and oh yeah, we meet Dr. Lingard and Kate's getting patched up. Okay, so we come across Joan and Clint, and so basically they're like interviewing Javier basically, and they talk about the whole new frontier mark, which as a test of loyalty. But I was wondering, like I remember seeing kids, while playing the game, and I'm like, do those kids have to get the marks too? Because that's a terrible group. Like, I'm sorry, just the new frontier are not good people. You know what I mean? They're just not. Sure, some of them are. Like, I think Ava and David are somewhat good people. Dr. Lingard is kind of good, but he's broken and he has problems. Clint, I kind of think he is, but he's weak. He has no spine. He's kind of like a Gregory, I suppose. And Joan is just, I don't know what she is. So anyway, wait, let's see. Megamat says Walking Dead pre-production is back. Season 10 finale soon, hopefully. Yeah, I'm excited, Megamat. I hope it comes soon. I can't wait for the finale. I stayed away from leaks. Like, I don't know who's going to die, if someone's going to die, what's going to happen in the finale. I don't know a thing, pretty much. And I love that. Dan says, I know. Hopefully this year will get better with The Last of Us 2 and the season finale. Yeah, there's some things getting better, personally. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the three channels I have in the description, like they make awesome content constantly. My brother got engaged. So yeah, this year is starting to look up, finally. I'm so glad. Like, thank God that, it looks like the worst is, coming to an end with everything that's been going on. Let's see. Megamat says it's past due that 2020 starts getting good. LOL. Yeah, I agree, Megamat. Absolutely. Cannot say it better myself. I mean, this is 2020, and like the first half of the year has been terrible, but like, what I mean? Because like I remember thinking like 2020 is going to be a fantastic year, and it still could be, but man, we have a lot of catching up to do, as far as the good part. All right, so this is what I didn't really like. So okay, so they Max comes in and he talks about how I killed that guy from episode 1, Rufus, and I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And then not only that, but they're saying like, first off, Joan and Clint are hypocrites because they even say, we know you had to do things to survive. We all did. And they find out that Javier, stole gas. Or like, first off, he didn't steal gas in episode 1. He was looting a vehicle. I mean, not looting. He was siphoning some gas from a car, and he didn't know it belonged to anyone. It didn't have a name, nothing on it. How was he supposed to know? And two, as far as shooting that guy Rufus, they were looking for his family. They were hostile. Okay. And then when they say, why should we let you in? You can tell them all, that guy Badger did, how he killed Francine, killed Marianne, and, and then they still banish, like, why did they still banish Javier from New Richmond? That is what I don't understand. Like, Dan, like, did that happen for you too? Did you also tell Joan and, Clint about how Badger and, the soldiers, they're the ones causing trouble for everyone, so he had no choice. And yet they still ban Javier from New Richmond. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. He just explained his reasons for why he, did the things he did against their group. And it's understandable. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Just the choices do not matter in episode 3. Like, I hated that. Like, we just got to New Richmond and now we're being banished from it. Like, that's so dumb. Like, makes no sense whatsoever. Hold on, guys. Okay, so we get banished from we're outside the walls, and Trip gets angry. He tries to run inside, and did you guys see that? How Ava, Ava, she's this. We got introduced to her earlier. She is this kind of short, but really tough, and she's a bald black woman. So, and then she like punches Trip, like, and then he like knocks him to the ground. I'm sorry, like Trip is like a foot and a half taller than her, and yet he gets knocked to the ground like a bag of bricks from her punch. I'm sorry, but Trip, you lost my respect at that scene. When I saw that, I'm like, Trip, I don't think I even want you in my group anymore after seeing that. Like, I'm sorry, that was just pathetic. Megamat says the only good thing that's happened so far in 2020, in my opinion, is the SpaceX launch. Um, I mean that honestly, I don't think that's the only thing. Well, for me, it's definitely my brother getting engaged. So yeah, but there's a few good things if in this year if you can look for them. Dan says, same here. I couldn't stand that. Uh, I'm guessing you're talking about the choices, Dan. Let's see. Megamat says screw Joan and Badger. Yeah, exactly. And I chose to shoot Joan at the end of. Okay, so I chose to shoot Joan at the end of episode 4, and I Lucille'd Badger. So I don't know if you guys did that as well, but just let me know if you guys did because I made those choices and I live with them very well. So yeah, Dan says I disagree. The choices aren't pointless in episode 3. They're pointless throughout the entire season. Yeah, that's a good one, Dan. Yeah, I just don't know what happened. Like we were in New Richmond and they say you're attacking us. Why should we let you in? And you tell them that hey, they destroyed Prescott with tear gas and walkers. They killed my niece. They killed a woman, Francine, like outside our gates. Like what I mean? Just you explain how they're bad. Your soldiers are out of control, and after that like if they were doing this right, Javier should be allowed to stay. They should be like, okay, then obviously like their people are the bad guys. Let's see. Dan says Clem needs to lead again. Absolutely, Dan. I couldn't agree more. Megamat says, oh yeah, they're both dead. Uh, oh, in my story. Yeah, the same Megamat. Like for Badger, I couldn't wait when I saw the trailer for episode 3. I knew we were gonna get a chance to take a bat to Badger, and I went full Negan. So yeah, I definitely went full Negan. And as far as Joan, I chose to shoot her and shoot. And yeah, I mean she actually dies. So yeah, that was amazing. You know, let's see. I couldn't stand her character. Megamat says the game should have stayed at Prescott. It was good before we got to Richmond. I mean, I don't know. Both communities just feel so bland to me. Do you hear what I'm? Do you know what I'm saying, Megamat? Because for Prescott, the only people we met there were Francine, who appears in like 2 scenes, in the entire season. Her introduction and then her death, and then Conrad, and then Trip, and then Eleanor. But like no one else got any screen time. And then Conrad died episode 2. And then Trip, in my version, he dies in episode 4, and then Eleanor didn't die, and that's crazy. Like, okay, first off, Eleanor, I can't believe that she betrayed the group. Like, that does not make any sense to me. Like, it feels like they were like, what are we gonna do with this character, Eleanor? And they're like, let's just have her betray the group. Let's have her betray her ex-boyfriend, who she cares about deeply, her good friend Conrad, Clementine, a girl that she knows, Gabe, like another kid. Like I get that she's not really close with them, but she's close with a couple people. And Eleanor just betraying the group, like that is not a good betrayal story. It's just terrible. Let's see. Dan says exactly that's the same thing I loved about episodes 1 and 2 was Prescott, but Richmond was terrible for me at least. Mega Matt says Conrad lived in my story. He actually redeems himself. Well, I think well, sort of Mega Matt. He doesn't. I wouldn't say he redeems himself. Sort of. I would say if Conrad does live in episode two, but you would have first off you would have to kind of betray Clem, which I obviously couldn't do. But if Conrad does live, he has very like little, moments in the episodes. He appears in a few scenes every episode, and he doesn't really do a whole lot. So, I mean, like as far as redeeming himself, I would say like he apologizes, but I don't think he really does anything to redeem himself. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't sacrifice. I mean, okay, yes, he could sacrifice himself, but I don't know, it just didn't really work. Like I just don't see him as a redemption character, personally to me. So yeah, and I still cannot get over how Trip got knocked out by Ava. Like I'm sorry, that was just pathetic. So yeah, the group's getting chased by walkers. Javier almost gets killed, and then Clementine shows up with a baseball bat, kills the walkers, and then gives Javier the bat. Okay, and this is the part where I was getting kind of weirded out. Okay, so first off, all right, right. So we get the Clementine flashback, and AJ is very sick, and Clementine, it's crazy. I chose not to steal the medicine. When Clementine was taking the medicine, I chose to put it back, because I didn't want anything bad to happen to me and AJ. I figured that, unfortunately, I was thinking, straight, and I was thinking there's no way I can give AJ this medicine. It's a needle without making him cry, and we're going to get caught. So I decided to put it back. And David, first off, I'm sorry, but David, I cannot stand him. He's just terrible in every sense of the word. Like, first off, he's verbally and physically abusive to Javier, his brother, for like little reasons. And he is willing to let a 13-year-old girl, die on her own. Like, you know what I mean? Just like that. And he has no reason to, but he takes the baby, or AJ. I guess he was like 2, but anyway, he takes AJ, and then he gives up AJ. Like, what in the world? Like David, how could you do that? Like, when I was playing as Javier, I actually got kind of mad at David, like, and asked him, how could you just do that to him? Like, just sell him like that. Just why? Let's see. Dan says, by the way, New Beginning Jesus looked awesome in episode 5. If it wasn't for Jesus in this season, it would have made it even worse, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree, Dan. And by the way, in episode 3, when okay, so the place that Javier and them are in is like this warehouse, and like Dan, did you know that? Do you remember when Paul Jesus was talking, and he said that it's not just Prescott that's being attacked. He said there's stuff here from the kingdom and the other towns here. Like, did you hear that as well? That's basically confirmation that before the New Beginning in the comic book series, before issue 127, the New Frontier, basically, they raided the kingdom and probably Alexandria, the Sanctuary, the Hilltop. I mean, all of the communities that we know in the comics. You know what I mean? From the New Beginning storyline. Like how mind-blowing is that? You know what I mean? Like, that is a good tie-in, you know what I mean, from the comic. But, like, unfortunately, like, we never got that confirmation, and I just don't understand why, you know what I mean? But, yeah, Dan, if it's not, like, 100% clear, it's pretty, it is mentioned. Yeah, so I think it's canon that, like, this is why Paul or Jesus comes into the story. Like, Hilltop, Kingdom, and Alexandria get raided, like, at some point during the time skip after All Out War in the comics, and then he, you know what I mean, and he goes scouting to see, who is doing it. Is it the Saviors? Is it someone else? And then, yeah, so that's basically it. But we could have had Michonne or like Rick or someone appear as well in season 3, and it's just so disappointing we didn't get that. Dan says, yeah, when he mentioned the kingdom, I was like, wow, something finally interesting. Yeah, I know, Dan, but I mean, I agree. But my disappointment was that we didn't get to see the kingdom or Ezekiel. Like, we didn't get any more of that. You know what I'm saying? In episodes 3, 4, 5, we don't get anything from the kingdom, from Alexandria or the hilltop. Like what they should have done, they should have had Michonne appear, and she's with Paul in episode 5. You know what I mean? Like we could have gotten to see Rick or something. Imagine episode 5. Imagine if we got the chance to meet Rick. Imagine he comes into New Richmond after everything is over and he meets Javier. You know what I mean? Because the fact that the kingdoms, not the kingdoms, the fact that the communities in the comic books got rated off screen, like we didn't get to see that. Like it's just crazy to me. Like that the New Frontier is so deadly of a group. They were able to raid, the main kingdoms. But it's like, but we don't get more than that. You know what I mean? It's like, like how come Rick or Michonne or Maggie, how come they didn't appear in the story at some point? Because when they want those supplies back, like, I don't know. Mega Matt says it felt like a fan service throwaway line. Yeah, kind of. I agree. Like, why would they say that line if it had no purpose to the story? Like, that's how they wanted to show. They wanted to say how dangerous the New Frontier were, but Javier and Clem took care of the entire group by themselves, pretty much. Let's see. Dan says if Ezekiel was in this, I would have had a bit more respect for these last few episodes of this season. Yeah, I agree, Dan. And like, I mean, I absolutely agree. If we could have seen Rick or somebody else come to New Richmond, because I just don't understand it. Like, it's tied into the comics now. You know what I mean? New Richmond, that's in Virginia. That's fairly close to where the communities are in the comics. So I don't understand why they couldn't tie in more comic characters, more comic plot lines, all this stuff. So I chose to give the drugs back, but unfortunately, stupid David knocked Clem's hand out, and then it broke the needle. And I got so mad at David. I'm like, David, you were just the worst. And he took AJ, and I chose to say goodbye to AJ instead of like spitting in his face, which in a way, I mean, yes, I guess I could have done, but I didn't want to make like that my Clementine. You know what I mean? Oh no, that's not good. My battery. Hold on, guys. My battery is really low, and I have to plug it in to my charger again. All right, so hold on, guys. While you guys put in more chat or comments in the chat, I'm gonna go get my charger and plug it in before my laptop dies, because yeah, we don't want the stream to end prematurely. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of these parts. Like, what do you think of David? I cannot stand him. I get that he's my brother, like Javier. They're brothers, but he's not a good brother, and he just does bad things, like kicking out Clem, selling AJ. Like, the moments he acts violent, when he doesn't have to, it's just, and trying to kill Javier, just like, why? Why is he doing this? Dan says, too bad Negan was prisoner at the time, because Negan in the season would have cheered me up. LOL. Yeah, Dan, absolutely. We should have had, it would have been awesome to have some Negan. He would have been so proud of Javier in episode 3, especially what he did. He would have said something like, hey, that's my stuff, but you can borrow it, like something like that. I don't know. Megamat says, I wish we could have seen him voiced by Jeffrey D. Morgan. Yeah, that would have been cool. Dan says, David was so annoying. Am I the only one who thinks that way? No, Dan, you're not. Like I said, David, he's verbally and physically abusive to his brother. He is willing to kick out and sell children. Like, I'm sorry, he's just not a good person. I get it that he has trauma and stuff, but he is making so many mistakes, and he's doing so many bad things, and he's expecting people to just trust him, and it's impossible. All right, guys, so I'm going to get my charger real quick before my laptop dies. Be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. Megamat says, what happened to David in your story, Dan? Actually, I want to know that too. Yeah, Dan, I really want to know what happened to David in your story too. Um, in my story, David, in episode five. All right, so I couldn't stand this. So in episode five, he so Kate says something like, she gets mad at David for saying that they're not going to save New Richmond, they're going to leave, and oh wait, Dan says he died in a car accident with Gabe, and Gabe had to put him down, but that the annoying part is that it happened off screen. Yeah, exactly, Dan. That is exactly what happened to me too. Uh, Kate went to go save New Richmond, and I decided to go with her. And Clementine, she went to go after Gabe and David, and she came back with with Gabe, but uh, what I mean, like David died. Um, you know what I mean? So I just, it was kind of weird. I will admit, it was kind of a weird, lackluster ending. But if if I didn't do that, then we could have had. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I guess I'd rather lose David than lose Gabe, even though Gabe was also pretty annoying. Let's see. Megamat says, "Stupid David lived in my story." I'm sorry to hear that, Megamat. And like, not only does he live, but he goes like missing. You know what I mean? Like, they say something like he ran off or something. Like, I just don't understand why. Dan says, "I feel bad for you, man. He is terrible." Yeah, the thing is, like, imagine Kenny, but like just worse. You know what I mean? Like, that's who David feels like to me. He just doesn't really have that many interesting qualities. He's just not that likable. I don't know. I mean, I get it. They were trying to do the whole Javier and his brother thing, but it just did not work. So yeah, episode three, we fight those guys. Oh, by the way, did you guys? Okay, so I destroyed Badger's skull. I went full Negan, and all right. So, did you guys spare Max or did you execute him? Like, like they catch Max, and he says that you know he could help. Explain what Joan's been doing because Joan's actually been the one getting them to raid communities, and basically like I'll be honest, I executed Matt, and it's such a cool line. Javier just says, "We don't need you," and he just pulls out a gun and boom, and that's how the scene ends. Like, I don't know, like that. I'm sorry, but like I get Javier doesn't really look like an awesome character. You know what I mean? He looks like a sort of a blandish character, but certain things I could do with him are just so exciting. Uh, okay, so after that, we come back into New Richmond, and oh yeah, Paul's leaving, and yeah, Paul leaves. I don't get it. Like, Paul just left out of nowhere, but then he came back. Yeah, he brought some people with horses, but that wasn't much of an army. You know what I mean? I don't know. That was kind of weird. Like, did he actually go back to the kingdom? Because there should have been a lot more people then. Like, where was Ezekiel? Like, Dan, let me know if you did not like that because I didn't like that one bit. We should have seen Ezekiel with Paul. Oh, Michonne too. Like, we should have seen everyone from the comic or a couple of more characters. Let's see. Dan says Kenny 2.0 is exactly who he is. Yeah, and it just does not work. Like, David, it's just it doesn't work. Kenny's more likable than David. Dan says, I agree. Megamat, you say I spared Max. Um, oh, okay, yeah. I did not. I definitely did not spare Max. I was totally going Rick mode on everyone. Um, so yeah. I don't know. I guess I was just. I don't know. I just did not want to. I figured that no one was gonna believe us or him. Plus, like, I figured, like, well, he can just lie. You know what I mean? So I decided it was not worth the risk. Let's see. Megamat says I felt he didn't deserve to die. Um, yeah, yes, like Megamat. Yeah, I mean, yes, he was on his knees and he was begging, but he when we were spying on them, when we were behind them, Mac or Max clearly talks about how they're fine with the rating, they're okay with that, they have no issues with it. You know what I mean? So, like, when I heard that, I knew that Max was maybe not as bad as Badger, but he was still mostly the same. and that's why I felt like he didn't deserve to live. Let's see. Dan says same, and you say even though I didn't like him too much at first. Yeah, I definitely went too much at first, Dan. Um, I was like showing no mercy. You know what I mean? In the episodes, I killed Badger, Max, then Joan. So I was going full Rick mode, and yeah, it was crazy, but it's kind of it was really fun. I got to be honest. Let's see. Oh, Megamat, you say he looks like Joe Pesci from Home Alone. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I remember seeing Home Alone sometime last year, and like he really does look like that guy. He's got the perfect hat. Even the outfit he's wearing, it looks so much like it. Dan says if we at least got Rick, Michonne, Andrea, Ezekiel, Carl, and Jesus, that would have been perfect. Yeah, kind of, Dan. I mean, not Carl, I guess, because I don't think Rick would let Carl go, to this new community that attacked them, and you know what I mean. But like as far as Ezekiel definitely, Michonne definitely, and Paul was already in it, so yeah. Let's see, Megamat, you say favorite season 3 character. Ooh, that is a tough one. You know what? Okay, I'm just gonna go with the obvious. It's Clementine. Clementine, but Javier is a close second. I will say that. Paul or Jesus, he's really they didn't use enough. They didn't use him enough. You know what I mean? So I can't say he's my favorite character. He's a really good character, but they just didn't use him in the game that well. And obviously, I'm not gonna pick someone like David. But yeah, I would say Clementine. I enjoyed playing her more in the flashbacks than I did Javier, but I still like playing as Javier somewhat. It was cool to play an adult again because in season 1 we got to play as Lee, and then season 2 we played as Clem. So it was really nice to play an adult again, a grown adult. Let's see. Dan says Rick will be proud of you. LOL. Yeah, I wasn't taking any chances when I was playing as Javier. I just went full like Rambo mode. So yeah, it was so fun. Let's see. Dan, you say still Clem, but after her, I say Javier. Yeah, the same. Uh, yeah, the same, Dan. Just those two characters really stand out pretty well, and I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but um, there are you know what's probably the most disturbing thing from season 3. It's there are people who actually ship Clementine and Javier, and he's like twice her age. So yeah, I like them as friends, but not as a couple. Like I don't like I don't like Javier and Kate as a couple because she's his sister in law. That's just weird, and I don't know, like I thought like they were building up Eleanor to be like a romance option, but she betrayed us. So now it's weird. Like man, like so much for love, Just yeah, Walking Dead games do not do love. It's like impossible or something. Let's see. Megamat says season 3 exclusive character. Um, I'm guessing you mean only a character from season 3. And then Javier. Dan says Javier, but not as a lead. Yeah, exactly, Dan. It's not the great. He's not the greatest lead, but he's not terrible. But the other characters are pretty terrible. Let's see. Megamat says, Mine's Jesus brings me back to the comic days. Yeah, I can understand that, Megamat. It's just that they don't use him very well. He's a little bit in episode 2, and then it ends. And then in episode 3, he's a little bit, then leaves. And then he's not in episode 4, and then he comes back in episode 5 for like 5 minutes. That was just so disappointing. I don't know. They should have used him a lot more. Let's see. Dan says, yeah, he was so awesome. And you say people ship Clem and Javier, and you put a sick emoji. And Megamat, you say the same thing. People who ship them are, and you're throwing up. Yeah, I couldn't agree more, you guys. I'm sorry. You guys in the sick and throw up emojis. You're making me laugh. Dan says same goes for Beth and Daryl. Yeah, exactly. Except Beth, at least she was 18. You know what I mean? At least she was legal, but you know what I mean? At least she was 18. But Clementine is still 13. You know what I mean? So many problems with that. I'm not gonna get into it. Just but yeah, both are disgusting. Okay, okay, guys. Okay, guys. I appreciate it, but that's enough sick and throw up emojis, please. Um, I want to get back on track, but yeah, I agree. There's certain ships that work in a Walking Dead game story. There's certain ones that work, but certain ones that just do not work, and they're only shipped because people are just they're either just want to see people's reactions or they're just sick. I don't know. All right, so oh yeah, and Kate wants to leave New Richmond. I didn't talk about her at all. Uh, okay, so I chose when I was Javier, I chose to side with Gabe. I decided no, we're not going to leave David behind. He's counting on us. You know, we have to go save him. You know, that kind of thing. And I killed Max. So and then Lonnie, he says that David betrayed them. He killed their family, and then David, he pulls his gun out and he kills Lonnie. Lonnie was one of those guys back there, and yeah, and did you guys notice this at the end of episode 3? Why do Oh yeah, this didn't happen for me, but at the end of episode 3, after David he pulls out his gun and kills that black guy Lonnie, and the guards they tackle Javier to the ground. Like why didn't they tackle David? Like he's the one who has the gun. Like I'm sorry, just I found that so funny. Like it's like wrong guy, idiots. Let's see. Megamat, another sick throw up. Dan, you say both are disgusting. Yeah, I agree. And you say Megamat, just one more. LOL. Dan, you say make that two. Guys, please. And Megamat. Oh, finally. And you are giving a laughing, crying emoji. Yeah, guys. All right. All right. Let's move on. But yes, thank you for the laughs. All right, so let's get on with episode 4. By the way, guys, I don't know if I'm gonna end the stream at 10 today, but so in 1 hour, but I might. But let's get to episode 4 and 5. I might go longer, like I might end it at 10:20 if you guys want, like make it a 2 hour stream. Let's see. All right, so we have the flashback with David and Javier, and David says he wants to go back in the military, and he says like, Javier, can I count on you to watch over Kate and the kids? And I tell him, yeah, sure, I promise him all that stuff. And all right, so David, all right, so Javier manages to escape. He comes across David, and they sneak in a building, and they have to have a plan. And there's a huge herd of walkers outside. Wait, Megamat, you say, oh no, not episode 4. Oh yeah, that's a bad episode. Yeah, 4 was so boring. Besides season 4, all of the Telltale games, like episode 4s, are terrible. You know what I mean? Just I don't understand what is up with that. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. Dan, you say Javier giving Clem a haircut. Uh, yeah, a haircut was so awesome though. Gave me season 1 vibes. And you say episode 4 was terrible. Yeah, I agree, Dan. And I forgot to mention a little bit about what happened with Dr. Lingard. Um, or actually, no, I'll mention him later. No, I didn't forget to mention that. Sorry. I get him confused just because like 3 episodes in New Richmond just is not a good idea. Let's see, Mega Matt, you say, guys, I promise David in my show isn't like, oh, The Walking Dead David, lol. Yeah, I know what you mean, Mega Matt. I mean, like, I have, like, yeah, I mean, I believe you. Like, I have a, original custom character I created. His name is Benjamin, and he is, he's like around 20 years old, and he is a very well skilled survivor. He is like a beast of a character, like that kind of survivor, like, and, but in the video games, I just think of, there's that video game version of Ben from season 1, and I'm just like, just every time I see the season 1 Ben, I'm like, I can't believe you have the same name as this character I created. Like, it just makes me feel like embarrassed or something. Dan, you say yeah, lol, and you say he's smarter. And Mega Matt, you say he's also not a jerk, lol. Yeah, yeah, my character isn't a coward. So yeah, I mean, it's funny how fans can come up with just better characters with the same names. It's just I find that so interesting. All right, so okay, so Javier escapes. He finds Gabe, and they're talking with Ava, Eleanor. There's a herd outside, and they need to make it to the armory. So Javier and Gabe, they sneak into the armory to get some guns, and Gabe bursts out of the closet. And this was so weird. Like, the guard, he stabs Javier in the shoulder, and then we have to go to Dr. Lingard to get it patched up. And Dr. Lingard, he's all high and just like, oh man, it's so annoying. Like, I'm sorry, but like, okay, in my story, I choose to kill Dr. Lingard, so that we can get the information on about where AJ is. But also, like he is not. I'm sorry, but he is not a good doctor. Like what kind of doctor in a zombie apocalypse is drugging himself? You know what I mean? Just you cannot have a doctor like that. Like I wish Negan was in season 3 so that he could have fired Dr. Lingard, because, like, you know what I mean? Like, just, I mean, he's okay with firing doctors, for little reasons. Why not using your own supplies? Like, that's why I couldn't stand David somewhat in season 3. Like, he banishes Clementine for trying to save, AJ's life, because the medicine has a good chance of, saving him. But he doesn't do anything with Dr. Lingard, who drugs himself and wastes medicine. Like, that is, like, terrible. Like, why would you do that? Like if I was in a group, I'm sorry, but I get it. Doctors are important in a zombie apocalypse, but if I was in a group, whether big or small, I would, if the doctor was drugging himself, wasting medicine, I would get rid of that doctor, because it's dangerous. Let's see. Dan says David from Survival of the Fittest killing the Walking Dead's David would have been satisfying. Oh wow, like David versus David. Megamat says, "Oh my gosh, don't tempt me." Dan, you say the worst doctor in the world. I get it. He said he wants to die, but like, I don't care. Like, what is your reason? Like, did you do things? Just I don't get what his reason is. That Dr. Lingard guy, he was a coward. He's withholding information about a child, a toddler, for Pete's sake, like, just so he can die. Like, I mean, talk about selfishness. Clementine wants to see AJ, and we don't even get that resolution. All we know is that AJ is at some place called the McCarroll Ranch, and like David sold AJ there or something. Like, just why? Like, and I don't care about David's reason in episode 5. He says, I already lost 2 kids. I didn't want a third one. It's like, David, you don't even really know those people. Why did you give up AJ? Like, just why? Megamat says, with mods, anything's possible. Could be like a bloopers moment or something. LOL. And Dan says, of course, this is the one doctor that survives. Oh, and Eleanor too, Dan. The doctor that betrays them. So, yeah, why can't we have a normal doctor in The Walking Dead? It's just, I don't get it. Megamat, you say, yeah, the one doctor who survives sucks. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree. And Dan says, please give us Dante back instead. I think I'd rather that. Let's see. And Megamat, you say, hashtag RIP Sadiq and Dante. Yes, I like Dante. LOL. I do not like Dante, Megamat. He killed Grandma Cheryl. You kill an old lady, I don't care what your reason is, you are pure evil in my eyes. When Father Gabriel killed him, when he killed Dante, I was like, yes, Father Gabriel. He should not last a single episode longer after what he did. And he killed Sadiq. Yeah, that too. Yeah. So yeah, Clementine stitches up Javier's injury, and we found out that Clementine is, she said that she was bleeding, and I immediately knew what was going on. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, I cannot believe that Clementine, I mean, yeah, she's 13 now, so it's like, wow. I did not expect that. Like, I'll be honest with you guys. So yeah, so the characters, they go into a garage and they steal a like armored truck. And Gabe and Clementine are playing a game. And all right, so Kate, she's talking about Javier. She's like, about us, I think we should give it a chance. And I'm like, Kate, no. Okay, first off, at this point in the story, I was still kind of interested in Eleanor. And I didn't know she was going to betray us, so I was interested in her. And not just that, Kate is my sister-in-law. Like, I don't understand why there's no option to say that. She is family. I like, my like Javier loves her, but as a sister, not as a romance or romantic love interest. Like, why is there no option to say that? Dan says, yeah, he's an underrated villain, but at the same time, thank you, Father Gabriel. Yes, I agree. Um, Dante caused a lot of damage to the group. Let's see. Megamat says Beta could be avenging Dante in the finale. I hope not. Um, okay, so in the finale, I definitely think that as far as characters that are going to die, it's either going to be Aaron, Father Gabriel, Jerry, or Alden. One of those characters is gonna get killed by Beta in the finale. I just know it, and I don't want it to be Jerry. I don't want it to be Aaron. Alden is too weak of a character or too small. I feel like it's probably gonna be Father Gabriel. I just feel like they've been building him up the whole season to get that death. Dan says Clementine honestly looks older than 13, but sure, Telltale. Let's go with that. Yeah, exactly. I agree, Dan. Also, like, I mean, it was like Telltale had this issue with the remodeling and all that, but like when they had to change Clementine's look from 11 to 13. But as far as like her looking older, like, yeah, I suppose they could have worked better on the graphics. But well, I mean, girls do develop earlier than guys around the teenagers age, so I don't know. I mean, maybe. Dan says, "Watch out, Negan. He's coming." Yeah, Beta's coming. And you say Beta's gonna kill someone. I just know it's coming. Yeah, it's definitely coming, Dan. I'm so scared to find out who it is. Ryan thinks it's gonna be Jerry, but I don't know. I really think it's gonna be Gabriel. And as far as like Aaron is a strong possibility too. Alden, I think he's like the least likely. Also, I don't think anyone would care honestly if it was Alden. Let's be honest. Um, let's see. Megamat says it'll be Jerry or Gabriel. I think. Yeah, those are the two most likely. I'll admit, Megamat. Um, oh yeah, and you say I feel Aaron and Alden will kill Beta. I kind of hope not. I kind of hope it's Aaron and. Um, oh wait, who else? Aaron and not Alden, but Negan. Yeah, Negan. Have Negan and Aaron be the ones to do it. Dan says, "I agree, Matt. I think that's exact. I think that's exactly. It's actually, but let's hope not. Let's hope it's not more than that." Uh, yeah. I want Negan to be there too. All right, so I just don't understand why Kate gets so mad at Javier. It's like, come on. So David's about to be hanged, and I chose to. Oh yeah, Trip died in my story. Oh yeah, Eleanor totally betrays us. First off, I can't believe Eleanor betrayed us. Like this came out of nowhere. Like, do you guys agree? Uh, like, why did Eleanor betray the group? She betrayed Trip, who, I mean, he was her ex boyfriend. She still cared about him. It was kind of like a Abraham Rosita thing. And like, why did she betray the group? And I made this joke on Dan's review how Eleanor and Joan are like the only Asian characters in the game. So like I'm like that can't be the only reason why she did it. Uh, but I mean it's Telltale, so you never know. So after Trip dies, I got so mad and I chose to shoot Joan, and I was honestly glad I did. So the guard, so David almost gets hanged, but they get him free, and the episode ends with Kate crashing the truck into the wall and explodes, and then the walkers start coming in. And did you guys notice how the walkers looked? The first walker that comes into the community, the modeling looks so terrible. Like it looked so bad. The walkers did not look real at all. You know what I mean? Like in the actual game, like the models just looked awful. Like, did you guys notice that they kind of looked like not detailed? You know what I mean? Just that was terrible. So yeah, it's not looking very good for Kate after that explosion and crashing the, truck into the gate. And yeah, the walkers, yeah, their herd is probably going to come in. So yeah, that was pretty much it for episode 4. I didn't want to take Clint's deal. I chose not to do that because I knew I couldn't trust Clint. He's kind of like a coward character, and not only that, he banished me when I told the truth why I killed Rufus and the other characters. You know what I mean? I told him why his system didn't work, and he said that, okay, how about this? We'll make a deal. And I said, no, I'm not taking your deals again. You banished me for no reason in episode 3, and now we're at the end of episode 4, and I'm not listening to you. You know what I mean? I can't trust someone like that. All right, so Dan says, too bad Jesus isn't there for the final fight like Beta, like in the comics in 173. Yeah, I agree, Dan. That stinks. But his death, it just looks. Thinking in his death in the show, I'm just like, man, that is still a cool death. But part of me thinks it would have been better if it was Beta that did it. You know what I mean? Can you guys imagine if it was Beta that killed Paul, and then he like walks away, and then the characters they have to go to his body? You know what I mean? Like that would have been awesome. Megamat says that's why I think Alden will kill Beta. He also knows Beta killed Gamma. Oh yeah, that's true. And man, why didn't Alden shoot Beta with the bow and arrow? Why did he shoot Mary when she was zombified? Like, come on, just why? Um, Megamat, you say Glenn was another Asian character in The Walking Dead or Telltale Walking Dead. Uh, yeah, that's true. What I meant was is that like Eleanor and Joan were the only Asian characters in the season. Is what I'm trying to say. So there were only 2 Asian characters this season. I guess what I'm trying to say. I'm like, so I was thinking, so is that why Eleanor betrayed the group? I'm just trying to think of a reason. Let's see. Dan says he should have killed Beta before Zombie Gamma, though. That was so frustrating. LOL. Yeah, exactly, Dan. I don't know. They could have had it. I don't know. They could have had it work some other way. Like maybe Beta, he hears, maybe, yeah. You know what? Beta hears the footsteps behind him and he ducks or something, or he moves to the side and we see, Mary get the arrow instead. And he turns around and sees Alden, with the bow and arrow. Like Beta almost got hit in the back, but he heard Alden step on some twigs or something and then he ducked in time. Like that's what they could have done better. I mean, I love what Angela King is doing with season 10, but I don't understand why she can't have it where she should have a fan like one of us just, you know what I mean? Just like watch the episode or the script and just be like, wait, why isn't the character doing this instead? Maybe we should change it up to have it make sense. Dan says, I didn't take his deal either. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't trust Clint. First off, I think he had like very little authority in the community. And not just that, I was thinking like, I kind of knew it wouldn't work. I knew there was going to be a confrontation, and Joan had to die. I did not like her one bit. I mean, she had her soldiers raid communities for a cake. You know what I mean? Like all the bloodshed, all the suffering, the sacrifices, damage, all for cake. Like you guys saw that in episode 3, right? How there was cake. I mean, like seriously, the cake in a zombie apocalypse, it'll drive someone mad. It's just she chose to do it for cake. Let's see. Megamat says Beta with Alpha's face and hearing voices reminds me of the anti-venom from Spider-Man, a nasty messed up mixture. Kind of, Megamat. I think that Beta was just hearing voices because okay, so you guys know I'm, a Christian, so I feel like it was more, spiritual, like Beta had like, demons or something, and I don't like talking about this, but there are people who have those, and I think Beta is definitely one of those characters, or a person who could have something like that, you know what I mean? Yeah, so that's personally how I saw it, so I didn't think it was unrealistic that Beta was hearing voices because that happens in real life, you know what I mean? And it comes from a spiritual place and not the good kind. Dan says if I could work with Angela King, I would have been like Angela. All due respect, but that makes Alden look stupid. LOL. And you say, I know, Ray. Oh, are you talking about what I said about Joan doing all this stuff for cake? Because if you are, then yeah, she did. Oh, okay. So all right. So episode 5, from the gallows, we pick up with another flashback, and I did not like this. Oh yeah, by the way, Dan, I think Eastside Badger told me this or something, but so originally episode 5 flashback was supposed to be Clementine. We play as Clementine one last time, and we say goodbye to. So Clementine's supposed to be on her phone, or not on her phone, but on the phone in the right before the apocalypse, and she's talking to her parents, and we would play as her one last time and say our final goodbyes, to Clementine's mom and dad. You know what I mean? And I think that was supposed to be the flashback in episode 4, and that would have been amazing. But instead, they decided to do this. I'm gonna be honest. I did not like this flashback. Javier, David, and their father are playing dominoes, and you know, David just okay. First off, Javier sees the piece of paper that says he has cancer, and David freaks out. Like David has so much anger in him. Like, just honestly, and even when I try to be nice to David, he's always criticizing Javier, calling him, like, insinuating he's a thief. Just like, why, David? Why are you being like this? Like, you are just like, I can't stand it. Like, you are just not a good brother to Javier. And Megamat says, "Oh no, episode 5, the worst episode from Telltale The Walking Dead, and I mean the whole series." I don't know if it's the worst episode, Megamat, but season 3, I mean, it's definitely up there. I mean, the Michonne game was pretty bad too. Dan says, "Why didn't they do that? We all care about Clem way more anyway." Yeah, I agree, Dan. And not just that, like, I'm sorry, but when I'm talking to Javier's father and David, I just don't like him that much. Like, okay, so first off, David, like, he has serious anger issues. Like, he is cursing out his father just because his father is like, "I don't want treatment for cancer, from you. I don't want the treatment. I know I'm gonna die one day." And David just has so many issues, and I call him out on it. And I'm like, okay, so and then the father talks about how he prayed for daughters when their mother was pregnant with both of them, and he did. And I'm like, wait a minute, so you didn't want them? It's like, I'm just thinking, I'm like, that sounds kind of mean. Like, you're basically saying, like, I didn't want you boys. Like, I get it. They both have their issues. Javier was like, okay, before the apocalypse, he was a little selfish, not visiting his family for a year when he was doing his baseball career. And David, he has issues with anger and abusing his brother. Like, but like I'm just like, man, like, seriously, like, I'm just like, man, like, Javier, he doesn't come from the greatest family. Like, let's be honest. And the father, he says, "Promise me, that you're going to be brothers to the end." And I chose to promise him. I said, "Yes, I will," because that's what I've been doing. I've been nice to David. I haven't betrayed him. I'm not taking Kate from him. I'm trying to keep his son alive, like all this stuff. Sorry, let's go back to it. Dan says, "I agree. Get ready, guys. My review for episode 5 is savage." I cannot wait. Yeah, I don't know if you're going to talk about anything. Yeah, Dan, I don't know, in your review, I don't know if you're going to talk about how they should have had Ezekiel, Michonne, or some more comic characters to tie in more because of that line that Jesus said about the kingdom getting raided. But I mean, I kind of hope you do, because it feels like a loose end. You know what I mean? Let's see. Megamat says David has a jealousy problem. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I don't understand why he's being like this to Javier. Like, yes, Javier was a famous baseball player, but David was the one with a wife and 2 kids. Like, come on, just, I don't know. It's just, it's an issue. I mean, also, is he still jealous now in the zombie apocalypse? And you say hype for the review, bro. Yeah, I'm hyped too. I cannot wait to see the episode 5 review and your season 4 review, because season 4, yeah, Dan, season 4 is so amazing. And not just that, like, you can't do 2 episodes a week. Like, season 4 is so amazing that you need 1 week to do every episode. You know what I mean? So, like, after episode 5 review, like, you should play episode 1 of season 4, do the review, and take a whole week just, like, thinking about that episode, because the episode's very long too. Like season 4, episode 1 is like 2.5 hours long. Like, I am not joking. But episode 3, 4, and 5, they're so short. They're like an hour and 15 minutes. Like, seriously. Dan says, I filmed it. I might post it tomorrow instead of Thursday, but I haven't decided yet. Oh wow, Dan, that's really soon. But if you do, I'll still watch it. And yeah, man, I cannot wait. Megamat says PLSTMR. LOL. I'm sorry, Megamat. I don't really know what that means. Oh, no. You're saying please tomorrow. Okay. I'm just like, I've never seen that before, but yeah. Dan, you say, yeah, I think I will. You guys have to see this sooner than later. LOL. Yeah, it makes sense, Dan, because you do, like, you want to finish up season 3 as quickly as possible and then get right into the good stuff, season 4. Yeah, and definitely take your time with season 4. There is like so much awesomeness in season 4. The long episodes, the amazing characters like Lewis and Violet, just a lot of stuff. All right, so in episode 5 we have so I promised my father we'll be brothers, and then oh yeah, guys, what happened to Kate in your stories? Did Kate die? Let's see. Megamat says, "Thanks, bro. Can't wait to see the brutality of this review." Yeah, me too. Just there was so many missed opportunities in season 3. Like, it had an interesting idea with tying in with the comic, but it did not deliver, and it made Clementine a minor character. Just like big mistake. So all right. So David. So Javier and David are. Okay. So Javier's killing walkers. He's shooting at people. And the walkers are everywhere. Kate's not in the van. I don't know how Kate disappears. But David gets mad, and they're looking for Kate. And we finally see Kate. Okay, so we finally see Kate. Sorry, guys, I heard something. So we finally see Kate, and she hugs Javier, and then David gets mad, and he starts shooting a walker, like 3-4 times, like wasting bullets. And I'm like, David, stop it. Like, what are you doing? And he even steps on it and is like, you two need to focus. And I'm like, David, you're the one who wasted bullets. Like, for Pete's sake, like, stop criticizing what we do and think about your own faults for once. Like, seriously. I cannot stand characters who waste ammunition. You know what I mean? Like I'm okay with characters hugging. If they thought the other person was dead, I'm okay with that. But when a character starts wasting ammunition on a walker or starts beating a walker more than they have to, I start being like, okay, that's annoying. Let's see. Dan says, if you thought I was mean in the Fear reviews, you haven't seen anything yet. Trust me. Yeah, season 3 is definitely like the Fear of the Fear Walking Dead in the series. Megamat says, Kate died on my story. I went with Clem, and useless, jealous David got to live instead. Oh yeah, I remember you said that, Megamat. Yeah, you said David lived, so I should have known automatically that means Kate dies. And I don't understand this either. So in the episode 5 promo art, like the way I have in episode 3 in the thumbnail, they show Kate as a walker. Like, you know what I mean? Just, why would they do that? Like, that is so stupid. And you say, I'm ready, my guy. I'm ready. I'm sorry, Megamat. What do you mean I'm ready, my guy? Yeah, can you explain that a little bit more, please? All right, so... okay, so the characters, they run inside. We find Clementine and Gabe. We go inside one of the buildings. New Richmond is overrun by walkers. And we come across this woman. Okay, so first off, we come across Eleanor. And I cannot believe Eleanor. She yells at Javier and says, this is your fault. Trip died. That's your fault. And I'm like, no, it was you and it was you and Joan's fault. Because you betrayed the group. You sold us out. And you should have known that you basically killed all of us, and, you killed all of us betraying us. And then, Joan choose. So yeah, I mean, it was, yeah, I mean, come on, that's just weird. Oh, let's see. You say, talking about the review. Oh, okay. All right. Thanks. Sorry. I was a little confused. Dan says Kate as a zombie completely, tricked me. So Kate lived. Yeah, that was so stupid. they should not have showed Kate as a zombie. What they should have done is not show Kate at all in the episode 5 promo picture. Let's see. Dan says that was the last straw for me with this season. Uh, hey, DeRosa. He says, hey, man, what's up? I We're talking about episode 5 right now of season 3 of the Telltale game, A New Frontier. I don't know if you played those yet. But Dan is he hasn't played season 4 yet, but I told him it's going to be amazing. So we're eventually going to get to that. So DeRosa, if you have any questions, just let me know, and don't worry, I'm going to make you a moderator at some point. We're almost at 40 subscribers now, so we're almost there, guys. So I want to thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. When I hit 40 subscribers, I'm gonna make a appreciation video. It's not gonna be much. It's just gonna be me talking and listing off your guys' names and how much I appreciate the 40 subscribers. So yeah. Megamat says it spoiled it for me because it happened in my story. Yeah, it didn't happen in mine. In my version, Kate lived, David died, and Gabe lived. Let's see. DeRosa says I'm very late because I was doing some important stuff. Well, that's all right, DeRosa. I understand. Yeah, I mean, you were doing important stuff, so it's all right. We're going to go on for another 30 minutes, maybe 50 minutes if you want. If you want to discuss episode 5 or season 3 of the Telltale game, just anything, just let me know. And Dan says, hey. And Matt, you say sup. And DeRosa, oh yeah, you guys are talking. All right. DeRosa, you say almost at 40 subs, my dude. Yeah, I cannot wait. Thank you guys so much. Yes, I will make you a moderator because you asked first. And moderators, it's just for like cursing and spam and spoilers, right? Like that's what a moderator is supposed to do, right? Because I don't think we have that much an issue like that, or like issues like that on my streams, but like I promised, I am going to make you a moderator. First chance I get, hitting, just one more sub. So yeah. Dan says, I just finished season 3 today, just so Giuseppe knows. And DeRosa, you say that's, oh really? That's cool. And it says, yo, I'm down, LOL, for 50 minutes. Yeah, I can go on for another 50 minutes. This is going to be a long stream because we're talking about 3 episodes. So yeah. Let's see. Megamat says Last of Us 2 better not be like season 3. Oh, I definitely don't think it's going to be like season 3, Megamat. First off, the graphics look so much better in Last of Us, and Last of Us is open world. Like we got to remember that. So, I don't know. Just I don't think Last of Us 2 can fail in a way. You know what I mean? They put so much heart and quality, and love into the game. But they didn't do that with Season 3 of the Telltale game because they were working on Minecraft Season 2 and Batman Season 1. They were working on so many other games, and, the writing team just couldn't handle all of it, so yeah. DeRosa says, why doesn't Dan do streams? I guess they're not really his thing. I mean, like, he does reviews, what-if topics, news, but I don't know. I guess I decided to do streams because... I guess, like, I don't know. It's my calling, and for Walking Dead content, because like I can't really do music videos well, and reviews I can kind of do it, but I just can't do it as often as Dan. I have I work like around 30 hours a week, and I have to give time to my family, God, and just other things. I have to watch, your guys' channels or in videos and stuff. So yeah, I just don't really have the time, unfortunately. Dan says, I will do streams probably this summer, but no promises. Well, that's okay, Dan. Even though you don't do streams, you are still one of my favorite YouTubers, and you're definitely better than Trev and Make a Path Presents, because I mean, don't get me wrong, Ronnie Hayes and Trev, they're cool guys, but they just don't have like, honesty, like, or, what I mean? Like we do, and the ideas we get, and just the way we, come together and just help each other build up. Like Ronnie Hayes and Trev don't really have that. They're just so focused on building up their own channels, but not really having like helping each other, I suppose, grow like other smaller channels. Like they don't really do that stuff, so I just decided not to watch them. Megamat says, I find streaming difficult, to be honest. Yeah, I find doing live streams very easy, actually. Like like it's actually pretty easy for me to pick like a few hours in the week just to talk about Walking Dead. Like it's a lot easier than doing like 10 minutes every day, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I don't know, I just find it a lot easier. Dan says, same, I hate going live, lol, but if people want, I can do it. Yeah, I mean, Dan, don't do it if you're already busy, Dan. Like, you don't have to do it because you already got so much on your plate. But you definitely, if you want to do it, you should. But yeah. And DeRosa says, God, I respect that, my dude. Um, well, thank you, DeRosa. I assumed you're talking about what I said earlier. Megamat says Trev got abused on stream yesterday. Not cool. Oh, really? Wow. How did he get abused? I didn't see it. Uh, let's see. Dan says, yeah, Jess wasn't happy. Oh, wow. I gotta look this up a little bit after, but yeah, that is not right. You cannot abuse. You shouldn't abuse anyone, and especially not during a video, because yeah, there's a lot of trouble with that. DeRosa says, what's your opinion on the PT channel? It's all right. I'm okay with Brian from PT channel. It's just he covers spoilers, and I do not go on any of those videos. But if he talks about like villains like Negan and Beta, I'm like, okay, that's fine, I can go on that video. So as far as PT channel, like I watch him sometimes. I watch him more than Trev and Ronnie Hayes now, but yeah, I check him like a couple of times a day, but I don't watch him consistently like Dan or Epic Zombie Killer. Let's see. And you say, what happened to Trev? And you say, I wasn't there. Let's see. Megamat says his girl was being terrible to him. Oh, that's terrible. Dan says, I like his channel, but the spoilers are terrible. Yeah, Dan, I don't watch PT channel for the spoilers. I used to watch I used to watch the Zeus Tuber, if you guys remember him. He used to cover spoilers too, and I kind of got spoiled Tyrese's death, and after that I decided not to do it, not to watch him anymore. And the Zeus Tuber, he's in college, so I don't know. It's just I don't want to. I don't like spoiler channels anymore. Dan says you can't even find the stream anymore. He took the first one down and did a second stream. Oh wow, that's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. I don't know, like why his girlfriend, fiance, wife was mad at him, but that's you can get in trouble for that. Movie Idol says, oh sorry, not Movie Idol. Megamat says Movie Idol is one of the only good big Walking Dead channels. I also like 9 Gaming. Oh yeah, I used to watch 9 Gaming, but I haven't looked him up in months. I completely forgot, all this time. It's crazy. DeRosa says, I like the smaller channels like Dan, Brian Hakeem, and Super Videos because we really get to have one-on-one conversations. You can't do that with Trev, Movie Idol, Ronnie Hayes. Yeah, I agree, DeRosa. Absolutely. I understand they're big channels, but the fact is, I would ask a lot of questions, at Ronnie Hayes videos or Trev's or Movie Idols, and they never got to me. First off, every time Movie Idol did a stream, he didn't warn people, sooner when he was doing a stream, and then he deletes them too. Ronnie Hayes, he has too many comments, and he only gets half my replies. And Trev, he skips most of mine, so I just couldn't do that. Megamat says, much prefer the smaller channels. Yeah, I absolutely agree, Megamat. It's nice that the smaller channels like us, we can talk about uh, how we would have written the story better, what kind of awesome characters can we come up with, all this stuff. Absolutely. Oh, hey, Epic, glad you made it. Hold on, sorry, real quick. Dan says, "Yeah, movie idol is awesome. I honestly like him more than Trev and Ronnie." Yeah, I agree, Dan. I will say though, Ronnie Hayes did a Sins video on TS19, and I absolutely agree with that. I commented on it on his video. I think Ronnie Hayes should do more Sin videos. You know what I mean? I don't know, just I think Ronnie Hayes should take it easy with the streams. He should obviously focus on his life uh, and do more Walking Dead Sin videos, because I think that's people want to see that. Streams, not so much. Let the smaller channels do streams, I guess. Let's see. Epic says, "Oh yeah, I'm glad you made it, Epic. Real glad you're here." Epic, you say, "Hey Brian, David had no right taking AJ from Clem." Yeah, I absolutely agree, Epic. There's so many problems with this. First off, Clementine is just a kid. She's 13 years old, and she has a 2-year-old toddler. Um, and she's trying to save his life with some medicine. And David says, "Oh, it's going to be a waste." Well, the doctor, Dr. Lingard, he is drugging himself and wasting medicine. He is the waste. So the fact that he kicks out Clem for trying to take medicine to save AJ, but doesn't kick out the doctor for abusing it, just like, why? And then the fact that David has the nerve to sell AJ to, like, sell AJ off to the this ranch group, just why? Like, if AJ was with David, or at least he was in the community, and Clementine, we got to see him, that would be at least somewhat forgivable. But the fact that he gave up AJ, just like, and yeah, he says he cared about AJ, but it's like, well, you didn't really make sure he was protected, David. You put him in jeopardy. Just why? Yeah, I agree, Epic. We can talk more about it if you want. Let's see. Dan says, "Yeah, I love being able to talk with everyone." Yeah, me too, Dan. It's so nice that we can all come together and not get overwhelmed by, the big channels like Trev and Ronnie Hayes. Megamat, you say a great community. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I really like this. Sure, I'm not a big channel like Trev, but I'm talking to a lot more guys than I used to on his streams. You know what I mean? So let's see. Dan says, "We are all awesome. We all here are awesome." Absolutely, Dan. We are true Walking Dead fans because we're consistent with the show. We talk about the good and the faults, and we're very tolerant too. We don't have problems with people if they have a different opinion. We're very tolerant and we're very understanding, and that's what makes us, true and good fans. So yeah. It makes me proud, to do live streams for you guys, because it means a lot. Let's see. DeRosa says, "I mean, let's be honest. The Walking Dead has some great fans." Yeah, it really does, DeRosa. Like, even if they're not big channels, like, they're great fans. And Megamat, you do a fist pump in the air. So, yep, I'm doing one too. Let's see. Epics, you say, "Yeah, the big channels like Trev's Chan too. He's not honest enough. He's constantly defending season 7 and 8. Well, he's not as negative as us." Yeah, I agree, Epic. It's not just negative. I think it's constructive criticism. The difference, okay, so being negative is not the same as saying or as giving constructive criticism. Like when like we talked about it before on this channel. We talked about it many times how I would have, or you guys would have done season 7 and season 8 much better, and why when Gimple wrote it, it did not work. That's constructive criticism. If we say The Walking Dead is a terrible show, it should never have been made, that is just being negative and hateful. But if we say why these seasons were terrible and how we could have written them better, then that makes us very competent, people and writers. DeRosa says, "Greedy AMC doesn't deserve fans like us, honestly." Yeah, that's true, DeRosa. I don't know if I'm really hoping AMC is not greedy anymore. Like, I'm hoping COVID or other things have made them decide, like, hey, maybe the fans deserve more respect. Dan says, "The Walking Dead has the best fans ever, in my opinion." It's definitely one of the best fans ever, Dan. Unfortunately, it does have some bad fans, unfortunately. There's a lot of those toxic fans. And yeah, and you agree, and Megamat agrees as well. Epic says, but yeah, season three should have been better than it was. Yeah, I agree, Epic. I think you missed it, but me and Dan talked about how they should have had more comic characters than just Jesus. We should have saw Ezekiel, Michonne, maybe Rick too in the finale of season three, because Paul mentioned how the kingdom got raided. We should have seen characters come in season three and say something like, "Hey, thanks for taking care of the new frontier. Do you want to join our communities or do you want to work with us? Just something like that." DeRosa says season three was the weakest in the games. Yeah, definitely DeRosa, and Dan has played. Dan is starting the season four soon, and I cannot wait. Like season four, they ended so strong. Like the franchise, I just love it. But yeah, season three was the weakest. It had bad characters like, Eleanor, David, Kate, Gabe, and it had good characters like Clementine be put on the sides. So yeah, DeRosa says if Daryl died, I'd be done. Yeah, and I heard that Norman, he got a house in California, and I think, yeah, I think Dan and me were talking about it at some point, and we mentioned how, yeah, if Daryl dies, like that's it for the show. Like that's crazy. Because Chandler Riggs, like he also moved to California too. Because he was killed off, back in season 8. Let's see. Dan says, agreed. I need to get. Oh man, I gotta catch up. Agreed. I need to get to season 4 so I can forget about this terrible season 3. Yeah, Dan, absolutely. Season 4 will make you forget how awful season 3 was. And the Michonne game, like it's just as bad as season 3. Like no joke, Dan. Except it's 3 episodes. DeRosa says my problem with the games is that they kill too many characters too fast. Yeah, I agree, DeRosa. It's weird. They didn't do that with season 3 though. Season 1 and 2 they killed off too many characters, but in season 3 they kept around half to most of the most of the characters they introduced. So yeah, that's kind of crazy. But it still did not make the season good. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say anything about season 4 of whether or not it kills off too many characters or not enough characters, because that's a bit of a spoiler. Dan says, yeah, Trev defending season 7 and 8 is crazy because he doesn't enjoy season 9 and 10 at all. It almost seems. Yeah, Dan, if I don't know what reason, but if I'm sorry, but like I get it that Negan was the villain in season 7 and 8. But I'm sorry, I disagree with Trev 100%. Season 7 and 8 were terrible seasons, and we talked about it many times why, and we talked about how we would have written it better if we were Gimple. And seasons 9 and 10, there is hardly any, there's only a few mistakes in those seasons. You know what I mean? Season 9 is the few mistakes were, some members of Magnus Group and, I guess killing off Henry or not doing something else with Henry, he was kind of annoying. But very few mistakes in season 9. In season 10, the Alpha bottle episode, that was pretty much it. So yeah, season 9 and 10 have so little mistakes. Megamat says season 1's cast, season 1's whole cast was wiped out, WTF. Yeah, I agree, Megamat. Season 1, they went through the cast so fast, and that's a big issue as well. In a way, I suppose that's why they retconned Kenny's death in the season 5 finale, or not season 5 finale, the episode 5, finale for season 1, and decided to bring back Kenny in season 2, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, we definitely needed more season 1 characters. Epic Zombie Killer says it's funny to 2017 and 2018. The Walking Dead did horrible during those years. Yeah, I agree, Epic. Wait, I think hold on. When did season 3 come out? Sorry guys, I just gotta look this up real quick. Wow, yeah. Season 3 ended in May 2017. Wow, seasons 2017 and 2018 were terrible years for The Walking Dead. Man, that's just crazy. Let's see. Megamat says, I say the second half of 2018 was a great year for The Walking Dead. Yeah, I agree, because we had the first half of season 9, and that was amazing. Season nine's first half is one of the best first halves. You know what I mean? In all the seasons. Um, it's better than season one's. Season one doesn't have first half. I would say it's better than season two's first half. Uh, it's around season five. Yeah, I don't know. Is it better than season five's first half? Um, it's definitely better than season seven and eight's first half, but I'm not sure about the other ones. Sorry, guys, I got to catch up. I just don't have enough time, and I'm kind of getting overwhelmed by your comments. Let's see. Dan says, Fear the Walking Dead Season 3 saved it, but still bad years for the Walking Dead's universe. Yeah, I agree, Dan. I mean, Season 3 was really good, but it still had some issues like, yeah, Season 3, Fear. They killed off every character they introduced in that season. Like, why? And you say, yeah, Season 9A was amazing. Absolutely agree, Dan. DeRosa says, how long does it take for AMC to edit an episode? LOL, I smell, oh yeah, B blank. Yeah, I don't know, DeRosa. I really don't. It's not like they have to do any more filming, so all they had to do was just, send it to those guys in the offices send the episode at home to those guys and have them work on it and pay them, have those guys work at home, Megamat says the best first half of the season. It's definitely up there as far as best first halves. Epic says, my opinion, killing Carl is the biggest mistake The Walking Dead has made. Yeah, agreed, Epic. We have talked about Carl's death being the biggest mistake so many times on this channel. It's crazy. In your guys' channels too. Yeah, it is true. Killing Glenn was also up there as well. But yeah, killing Carl definitely more. I mean, I wasn't I wasn't as upset with Glenn's death as with Carl's death because it was like spoiled for me, I guess. Actually, Glenn's was too, but I don't know. It's just as far as like Carl, I guess I was more in denial, but for Glenn, I just knew it was happening. For Carl, I guess I was kind of like numb when Carl died because I was thinking, like, the show is done. It's done. When Glenn died, I was thinking, okay, they were following the comic. But with Carl, I was thinking, what are they doing? I'm like, I can't watch the show anymore. I don't think I can. So I was like numb to it. Dan says, yeah, we are the end of the world. 10:02. It's very boring, to be honest, but Samantha Morton did great as usual. I agree, Dan, but they shouldn't have done a whole bottle episode on Alpha again. DeRosa says, facts, Epic, and Dan agrees. Megamat says, I like Beta in his balaclava. He reminded me of Michael Myers. Oh, okay, yeah, I get, kind of, yeah, I agree. DeRosa says, I wouldn't care if Rick left if Carl was alive. Yeah, I agree, DeRosa. We could have had a recasted Carl. He would have been like 23. That would have been awesome. Oh, and Dan just says, same. Carl leading Alexandria would have been awesome to see. Yeah, I agree. DeRosa says, take your time, Brian. No rush. Sorry, DeRosa. I'm in a little bit of a rush because I got maybe 27 more minutes, and we still got to finish episode 5 of season 3. And I have a lot of comments from you guys, so I have to rush just a little bit, so I'm not overwhelmed. DeRosa says Carl was the future for The Walking Dead. Yeah, I agree. But now we have Judith, so yeah. And Megamat says, at least we have Judith and Herschel. Yeah, whenever we finally see Herschel, like, I am dying to see 8-year-old Herschel, read, but man, it's taking forever. Why did Maggie have to leave? You know what I mean? Just, why? DeRosa says killing Carl basically means Rick failed. Yeah, big time. Yeah. I mean, when he didn't save Lori, I was like, okay, that was fine. Rick, it wasn't your fault that Lori died. But with Carl, I'm like, okay, Rick, it was a little bit your fault. And what I mean by that is, if Rick, so a few things. One, Rick should have made sure that Carl was safe in Alexandria. Like, the fact that no one was keeping an eye on him, and the fact that Rick, when he scared off Sadiq, that was a big mistake because Carl could not live with himself if he let Sadiq starve in the woods by himself alone. Rick was not thinking straight. Rick was making immoral decisions, and that resulted in his son trying to fix Rick's decision, and that resulted in his death. So Let's be honest. It's not the Savior's fault that Carl died. It was Rick's immoral actions. I'm sorry. It is kind of true. Rick, he should not have scared away Sadiq like that. He had no reason to. You know what I mean? Why did Rick do that? That is one thing I will say. I don't blame Rick for what happened with Glenn, but it was kind of Rick's fault that Carl died. Rick really could have not done that. You know what I mean? Let's see. And Megamat says, and RJ too. Yeah, RJ is like 6 years old, I think. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't. I wish they can do something with him, but he's so young right now. Like RJ, he wasn't used at all in season 10. Dan says now it's Judith. Yeah, I mean Judith is fine, but I wish we had Carl and Judith. Epic says plus Carl, he died in a dumb way. Really, that's how you're killing him, Gimple? Yeah, it's so dumb because it's like they decide to copy Andrea's death all over again. They literally just gave Carl Andrea's death. Andrea was doing something stupid. She was talking to Milton instead of trying to get free. He becomes a walker, bites her. And Carl decided to do something stupid, go off on his own, and save a guy he doesn't even know. But to be fair, it was because of Rick's immoral decision to try and scare Sadiq, away. And, that resulted in Carl dying. And it is exactly the same. Both of them shot themselves in the head after they were bitten and dying. Like, Carl literally dies the same way Andrea does in the show. Gimple just copied that death. I mean, come on. Like, it's terrible. Dan says, yeah, for once, Negan had a point when he was talking to Rick in 8010. Yeah, I agree, Dan. I mean, it sucks. I do like Rick, don't get me wrong, but he was making a lot of immoral decisions, and one of them resulted in his son dying. If Rick was if he was being a better, man to Carl, if he was making Carl more proud of him, like that kind of father, like in the comic, Carl wouldn't have got himself killed. DeRosa says, I love the comic ending, but I wanted to see Carl as the leader for a little longer. I don't even know if Carl was the leader in the comic, honestly, but I definitely wanted to see Carl longer in the show. Dan says, yeah, I wish there was a 194 and 195. Yeah, I agree. And DeRosa says, I think Kurtman was tired. What is Kurtman doing right now, by the way? Like, seriously, nothing but, like, has he been doing anything since The Walking Dead ended? Dan says, too bad because he created the best story ever. Absolutely, Dan. It's definitely one of the best stories ever. Up there with, Avatar, The Last Airbender, like my favorite stories of all time, Megamat says he should have got someone else he trusted to continue to write it. At least Robert Kirkman ended it. Honestly, like, what about George R. R. Martin? Like, that guy still has not finished the Game of Thrones books, and it's been like 10 years since his last book. So yeah. DeRosa says, not Rick, Scott Pimple. Oh, you mean that got Carl killed? Yeah. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Sorry. Epic says, also I'm pissed that we never saw the Negan versus Beta fight from the comics in season 10. Yeah, you're right, Epic. We should have seen that. But the thing is, see, this is once again Gimple's fault. He decided to have Rick and everyone else leave Lucille by the tree where Rick and Negan fought, and because no one picked up Lucille, they couldn't do that fight in the show. And now they can't do it. Like, I don't blame Angela King. If she says that we can't do that fight in the show because Lucille was left by that tree, that would be Gimple's fault. I'll say, you know what, Gimple, that was your fault too. You had one job, adapting the comics, and you couldn't even do that. DeRosa says we still can. I wish DeRosa, but we can't. Lucille's dead. Megamat says it could be in the finale. It's possible, but I don't think it's likely. Dan says, yeah, it's probably in the finale. Well, fingers crossed. Epic says, my opinion, I think the comics are better than the show. It doesn't have any mistakes, unlike the show. Well, yes and no, Epic. I will say the comic does have some issues. It draws, like, Charlie Adler, sadly, he draws Rick's right hand a few times in the comic. And there were certain characters in the comic that they should not have killed off. Like, Maggie's younger brother, Billy Green. Like, I'll be honest, they never should have killed him off in the comic. And as far as other things in the comic, like we didn't get to see much of the kingdom. We didn't get to see Oceanside at all. So the comic does have some mistakes, Epic, but I will say it's definitely not the same like the show. Like the show has problems with the writing, whereas Kurtman just sometimes he just doesn't show enough of a community or makes one mistake of a character or death. Dan says, if Negan fights Beta, though, put it on the promo for the finale, create more hype. Yeah, I agree. That would be awesome, Dan. Mega Matt says, comics do have mistakes, my opinion. Nothing's perfect. Yeah, I agree, Mega Matt. Even great stories have some mistakes. But you don't focus on those mistakes too much because it's so awesome, the story. Dan says, especially the Commonwealth storyline. Oh, yeah, it's really boring. And you say it's kind of boring. LOL, I agree. Megamat says the show version of the Whispers is way better than comic Whispers. I would say it's definitely about the same. And you say especially Beta. Yeah, Beta is really good. Dan says completely agree with that. All right, guys. So we're all caught up now. So real quick, guys, I just want to let you know what happened in my story for season 5. Sorry, why do I keep saying season 5? Episode 5 of season 3. So let me just say this real quick, guys. So we get to the garage and David wants to leave. And, Kate is all, I can't believe I loved you, David, either of you, because he wants to run away. He doesn't want to go save New Richmond because Kate wants to save it. David kind of tricked everyone, and Javier covered himself in walker guts to get through, to distract the walkers with a generator. And I can't believe it. David, he punches me. Like he loses it. I even tell David, I say, David, I did not act inappropriate towards Kate, nothing. And I'm just going to say this real quick. I can't believe the game tries to do this to me. It has David attack me, and when I have a choice to either not attack or attack, and I'll let you guys know, I chose to attack. I could not stand David. I thought, you know what, David, that's it. You're not my brother anymore. And I attacked him, I punched him, and it said, you broke your promise to your father. And it's like, I don't care. He's trying to kill me, and we're like 4 or 5 years in a zombie apocalypse. He's trying to kill me for stealing his, wife, which I'm not trying to do. Like, David is unreasonable in every sense of the word. Like, let's just think about what David has done. He completely freaks out. He even hits Gabe with a wrench by accident. He banishes Clementine. He sells AJ off to who knows, who. He verbally and physically abuses Javier. He tries to kill him, and he runs away from his problems instead of facing them. Like, I just don't like his character. Let's see. So yeah, as a result of this, Clementine went after David and Gabe, and then Javier. I went with Javier, and I went with Kate. We saved Richmond, and then the game ended. We talked to Paul Jesus a little bit, and he decided to leave. I said, man, I wish I can, I wish you could stay. And he's like, well, I got other people to get back to. And I was thinking, I'm like, oh yeah, like Rick, Maggie, Ezekiel, like, why can't I join you? Or like, why can't they come here? Like, I would love to, if that could have happened. Epic says David, by the far the most hated character in this game. He's definitely up there, Epic. Badger was pretty bad too. That's why I Lucille'd him, yeah. Let's see. Megamat says, when the streams finish, I'll start filming again, season 2. Oh, okay. I'm going to end the stream in about like 17-20 minutes, if that's all right with you, Megamat. Obviously, you can go whenever you want. Like, I'm not keeping you here. But yeah, I'm ending the stream real soon. The Rosa says, Rick Grimes is my favorite character of all time. Do you mean favorite Walking Dead character or favorite Walking Dead franchise character, or do you mean favorite fictional story character? Because I have a lot of favorite characters in stories. Let's see. Dan says, glad to hear that. Glad to hear, Matt. Can't wait for September. Let's see. Mega Matt says, David, can't stand him. Yeah, I don't understand it. Why does he just freak out and start hitting his brother, like, for no reason? Like, yes, Kate said, I I loved both of you. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Okay, of course she loved Javier. He's her brother-in-law. Just I don't understand it. Why does everyone assume that Javier and Kate are romantic? They're not romantic. Not in my story. It's just it's gross. They're siblings-in-law. Like I would never do that. Like I can never I don't know if you guys have siblings who are married, but I cannot picture a relationship with my sister-in-law or whatever. It would not work, whether it's real life or a story. It's wrong. Dan. Oh wait. Sorry guys. I got too many comments right now. Um, let's see. Mega Matt says thanks, Dan, and Dan says Giuseppe. I think Rick is the best character in all of television. He's definitely up there, Dan. Definitely. As far as television, like I watch plenty of shows, or I used to, but I just don't like Rick is definitely up there. Like Flash. Not a big fan of. Like I don't think he's one of the best characters, but Rick, he's definitely up there. Characters in Game of Thrones. Like Jon Snow, he is not one of the best characters in television. He's a really good character, I'll admit that, but he's not a great, amazing character. Epic says such a horrible character, man. Yeah, kind of. Mega Matt says for me it's Jesse Pinkman as my favorite show character. Yeah, yeah, I don't really have for Breaking Bad. I'm just not really I know about Breaking Bad, but I've never watched it all the way through. I know the main parts in the story. Um, I know about the movie and stuff. So yeah. DeRosa says Rick is definitely someone I look up to. Um, do you mean comic Rick or TV Rick? Because especially in the TV universe, Rick has made a lot of mistakes, like a lot of immoral decisions. But I will say, it is fun to play as Rick. Like when I'm Javier, like you know what I mean, like act like him. Like when I Lucille Badger, I executed Max. Like or I killed John too. So I went like full Rick. So yeah, and Dan says, yeah, Jesse and Walt are incredible. Yeah, I'm sure they are, Dan. It's just I don't know. Breaking Bad's not my thing. Stranger Things is more my Stranger Things is more my thing. But I don't think any characters in Stranger Things would be on the best characters in television history. They're good, but I don't know if they're that good. Dan says Jesse belongs in The Walking Dead as well. Yeah, I don't know if it was Gimple or somebody, but somebody said that The Walking Dead and Breaking Bad are not in the same universes. And I'm sorry, but whoever did that should have been fired. It should have been like, okay, why would you say that? That would have been amazing, you know? Like Breaking Bad happens right before, the Walking Dead. Like that would have been amazing. Like we could have had a crossover. Like we could have had Jesse in the zombie apocalypse, or he could have been in Fear the Walking Dead. You know what I mean? Like wouldn't that have been interesting if Jesse and Nick from Fear the Walking Dead they meet or something, and Jesse talks about how he wasn't like he had this friend, they made drugs together. Like do you guys think that would have been amazing? Dan says Jesse belongs in The Walking Dead as well. Let's see. Um, okay, Mega Matt says I enjoy the stream, bro. Thank you, Mega Matt. I really appreciate that. I enjoy doing them, and I enjoy talking to you guys, and I'm glad we can be so honest and upfront with each other. But yeah, I gotta end it soon. I'm getting real tired. My throat is getting parched, and I gotta spend some time with my family tonight. Let's see. Dan says same here. Giuseppe. DeRosa says favorite fictional character. Oh wow, DeRosa. I don't know if my Rick is definitely not my favorite fictional character. I don't really have one. There's just so many characters that like I have a list, but I don't have a number one. It's just hard for me to make a list. Dan says when I heard he was leaving, I literally didn't know what to do with myself. Yeah, me too. I thought like we lost Carl. Now the show is gonna end. DeRosa says my favorite fictional characters are Rick Grimes, Harry Potter, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Well, that's cool. That's cool, DeRosa. Rick Grimes. I don't think he's my favorite fictional character. Harry Potter. I like Harry Potter, but I'm not that into it. And Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm not in Star Wars that much either. And Mega Matt says, hello there. Huh. Okay. Hello. Dan says, yeah, these streams are the best. Well, thank you, Dan. I really appreciate that. I enjoy doing them, and you guys are the best too. You've stuck with me. My channel is like a year and a couple months old now. I have almost 40 subs now, and yeah, it's all thanks to you guys. I really appreciate all the support you've been giving me. Dan says Javier wants to be Rick sometimes. Can't say I blame him. LOL. Yeah, when I was playing as Javier, I'm like, because I wasn't playing as a little girl like Clem in season two, I'm like, well, I might as well go full Rick, and it was very fun. DeRosa says Rick is the most B character on The Walking Dead. I don't know. I don't know, DeRosa. Daryl's up there too. Um, Mega Matt says Joel is just as good as Rick in my opinion. Um, Joel will he would kill Rick. Let's be honest. On a one-on-one fight, but yeah. As far as Joel, he's a pretty good character too. But um, yeah, I mean, in the beginning, I liked Rick more. I would say, yeah, I like Rick overall more. But Joel is growing on me. Dan says absolutely. Andrew Lincoln is so missed. Absolutely, Dan. I miss him too. The show just isn't the same without him, you know. And I get it; it's not supposed to be, but I don't. I just don't think Norman Reedus can. He can't capture the same magic, you know. Dan says, "Yeah, Joel is also really awesome." Yeah, yeah, I guess it's just he just didn't have that. He doesn't have that Andrew Lincoln charisma, you know. Megamat says, "I would not like the shows to be connected because it would take away from the importance of Breaking Bad." Um, oh wow, really, Megamat? Well, I mean, I respect your opinion. I don't know. I just thought like if like they could at least say it was in the same universe or something. Because I just can't see how they're not in the same universe. You know. Dan says, "Yeah, Breaking Bad is honestly a person its own." Um, Breaking Bad is honestly person its own. I guess you're saying it's better on its own, Dan. Yeah, I respect that. I just I mean, I don't know. I feel like they at least shouldn't have said they're at different universes, because that would have been cool if it's like they're in the same universe. You know, I get it. Breaking Bad is about a desperate man, but you know, Walter dies at the end of the series. So, or yeah, he dies at the end of the series. So, I don't know. I feel like it was over. So, you know, what matters after that? You know. Dan said, sorry, Epic says, "Hey Brian, it was my birthday yesterday." Yeah, I know, Epic. You know, happy. You know, you've been 23. You know, happy one day of being 23. Yeah, man, happy birthday. I know I commented you yesterday and said happy birthday. Mega Matt says, "For sure, bro." Dan says, "Perfect." I mean, oh, okay, yeah. That's okay. I mean, to be fair, like I don't think it would have been like perfect if Jesse was in the Walking Dead universe, but I feel like I wouldn't have been upset if they at least said, "Oh, they're in the same universes," you know, or it's like Breaking Bad is just a prequel, you know. I don't know. Mega Matt says agreed, and you say, "Yo, Brian, hello." There is an Obi-Wan meme. LOL. I didn't know that. Thank you for telling me. Dan says, "I loved Hank in Breaking Bad. He was an upgraded version of Abraham for me." Huh, that's cool. DeRosa says, "What if Rick comes in season 19 and Daryl shoots him and Carol is like, 'Do you know who that was?' And Daryl is like, 'Doesn't matter, not one bit.'" Oh, LMAO. Um, wow, yeah. I mean not season 19, I think season 17, but I think that would make more sense. But yeah, I agree, DeRosa. That would have been so funny. That would have been hilarious. Everyone would be so mad at Daryl. But unfortunately, let's be honest, there's no way the show can go on to season 19. But yeah, that Morales thing, just like, man, just what was Gimple thinking? DeRosa says, same thing that happened to Morales. Oh, man. If they give the Rick Grimes the same death as Morales, I mean, the fans, I think that's going to make fans so mad, like how the fans of Game of Thrones were at the final season. Like, fans are gonna get that mad, with the show. They're gonna be like, the show's ruined now. Dan says, I'd be so upset. Yeah, I would be too, Dan. I would just be like, are you serious right now? Epic says, it's crazy. In the beginning, we had a ton of comic characters, but now the roster is all new characters. Yeah, I agree, Epic. I'll be honest with you, I don't like it. I get that Maggie is coming back, but um, we should have had Carl. We should have had Glenn. Negan only should have killed Abraham. Like, we could have had some more original characters, and yeah. Let's see. DeRosa says, "Hey, if the show had Rick and Carl, I could see 20 seasons." Um, honestly, I mean, honestly, I couldn't see 20 seasons, but I could definitely see a lot more than, um, you know, the seasons now. Like, I see season 11 being the final season, but we'll see. I could be wrong. DeRosa says, if Rick died that way, we would riot. Um, yeah, that's true, DeRosa, but I still don't know if they're going to do the Rick movies. We still don't know that. The filming is taking forever. Eastside Badger talks about how they're probably not even going to do the Rick movies. Like, it might have been false advertising. And if that's true, then we'll never see Rick again. And that would just, I know Dan would be so mad if that were the case. I would be too. Dan says, if we get season 19, we probably won't. I'd be so proud of the show getting that far. Yeah, that would be crazy far. Megamat says, I think season 15 is the spot to end it. Um, Honestly, I think 12. I think they should end it at 12. Uh, DeRosa says, the actress of Judith is amazing. I agree, DeRosa, absolutely. Kaylee Flemings is amazing as Judith. Only issue, though, is that she's just aging too fast. The actress, she's growing up, man. She's growing up like a weed, and she's supposed to be playing a 10-year-old, but she's like 13 now. So we're gonna have an issue with that. Let's see. Epic Zombie Killer says, "Hey Brian, thanks for these amazing streams, bro. You're amazing." Well, thank you so much, Epic. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I wish I can do like gaming streams and like reviews like the way Dan does, but yeah, unfortunately, I just don't think I can. It's just not my thing. I feel like ever since I watched Super Entertainment videos, I feel like, or no, sorry, Super Videos Entertainment. Ever since I watched him, I decided, you know what? I think it's streams. I think that's my thing. So I tried them, and man, streams just work. Megamat says, all right, guys, I'm going to film. Ciao. All right, Megamat, thank you so much for stopping by. See you next time, and I really appreciate it. Yeah, you have a thing to do. I completely understand. Good luck, and take care, man. See you next time, and yeah, stay safe out there. All right, so DeRosa says, there's no way I'd be satisfied if The Walking Dead doesn't end with Rick. Yeah, I agree, DeRosa. A lot of people won't be satisfied if the show doesn't end with Rick Grimes. We got to get that confirmation. And you say has to end with Rick Grimes. Yeah, I agree. We got to get that closure. But I feel like we're going to get the comic ending where Rick is going to be dead. We're going to get an older Judith, an old man Daryl, and like the characters and kids are much older now, and it's just going to end. Maybe everyone's at a dinner table, and it just ends kind of like the comic where Judith is like reading the story of the great Rick Grimes or something. Dan says, thanks for being here, Matt. And you say, Rick is The Walking Dead for me. I think The Walking Dead for me will always be just awesome characters, honestly. Rick is an awesome character, but he's not the only one. So it's weird. Like, I can watch The Walking Dead without Rick, but I cannot watch it if their characters are not interesting. Like Magna, Yumiko. Magna's not interesting. Kelly is not interesting. Luke is okay, but he needs some more. Connie's interesting, though. Yumiko is fine, I guess. But yeah, we need interesting characters. DeRosa says, do you think the original series could end on a movie? I think it's possible, DeRosa. I could definitely see AMC saying that, hey, we're losing a lot of money doing The Walking Dead. We're going to do the movie and just end it. It's definitely possible. Plus, I don't think they're going to get to 3 movies, DeRosa. I really think that they might just do one movie and that's it. Dan says, I would love that. And DeRosa says, I'd be okay if Daryl dies on the last episode. Um, I know a lot of people wouldn't be happy with that, DeRosa. People would freak out if Daryl died at the last episode. Rick didn't even die in the last issue. You know, he died one issue just before the last issue. No, wait. Yeah, well, technically two. No, he died one issue before the last issue. But yeah, if Daryl dies in the last episode, people are going to be so mad. The last episode of The Walking Dead, it needs to be a happy ending. It needs to be a happy ending that brings everything back to the beginning. It has to be like the comic, the way the comic ended. Thank you for the comment. Epic says, love your channel, Brian. By the way, in a way, Rick leaving is Gimple's fault. Yeah, I agree. I agree, absolutely, Epic. They should not have stretched out the Negan arc for 2 seasons, and they should not have killed off Carl. And they could have. Yeah, Andrew Lincoln probably would have stayed, a little bit longer if Carl or Chandler Riggs was on the series. So yeah, they should have done that. So Rick leaving is partially Gimple's fault. I agree with that. And thank you for the love of the channel. I appreciate that. DeRosa says, last episode of the series. DeRosa, you say the last episode of the series, like for them to kill off Daryl. I just don't think they're going to do it. Dan says, yeah, Daryl going down in the series finale would be sad, but I honestly think it'll happen. But how could it happen, Dan? Would he get Rick's comic death and then they do the time skip and then Daryl gets a statue? I don't see it. I feel like we're going to get old man Daryl, even Beth said it. You're going to be the last man standing. The last man standing cannot be Scott. Just please, I'll take Daryl be the last man standing. Don't have it be Scott. Okay. DeRosa says Rick, Daryl, Morgan, Negan, Michonne, and Shane is The Walking Dead for me. I would say any character that is interesting and that they can bring into the series is The Walking Dead for me. But definitely some season 1 characters is The Walking Dead for me. As long as there's some season 1 characters, it's still The Walking Dead to me. So I agree, DeRosa. Dan says, yeah, let's not forget Negan. Oh boy, who can forget Negan? Yeah. DeRosa says, Morgan on Fear is so frustrating. They're messing his character up so bad. Yeah, I agree, DeRosa. Morgan he's a terrible character right now. Oh, wow. Yeah, guys, we've been going on for 2 hours and 2 minutes now. I have to end it. I'm going to finish your guys' comments, so don't worry. But yeah, Morgan is being terribly written. Fear, I agree. Dan says he needs to clear Virginia. Absolutely, Dan. Morgan better be the one to kill Virginia in season 6. They better do that. If not, I'm going to be pretty angry at the show. I mean, maybe Alicia, too, can do it, but Morgan should be the one. DeRosa says clear Morgan is better than fear Morgan. Yeah, that's a good one, DeRosa. Yeah, I like that. And you say if you were the showrunner, oh wow, if you were the showrunner, how would you end the series? Sorry, DeRosa. That is a long question. Okay, I would definitely end The Walking Dead, being like I would end it like the comic, maybe like. It might sound crazy, but I would say Rick is probably dead. Michonne might be dead too. Yumiko is the supreme judge of the Commonwealth or in the new United States or whatever. Maggie is the president, or Maggie or Aaron is the president, just one of those characters. And the characters, Daryl's still alive, Dog, Connie, Carol, Judith, RJ, Herschel, all these characters are still alive. And they have a dinner celebration at Judith's house, and it calls back to the season 7 premiere where Negan talked about the whole, with Glenn and Abraham, at the dinner table. We get a recreation of that scene, but it's with these characters and their kids. So I would do that, and then I would have Judith going upstairs, and she's reading the story of Rick Grimes to either her child or to RJ, just something like that. And I would just end The Walking Dead. The final episode would be a happy episode, kind of. It would be kind of like bittersweet, but mostly sweet, or, a happy ending for The Walking Dead. Dan says, Scott is safe. We all know it. I know, Dan. It stinks, though. DeRosa said, yeah, you're laughing, Scott. And you say Scott is like that player. He's on the bench that never plays. Exactly, DeRosa. Very well said. He's definitely that character. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what he did before the apocalypse, you know? Dan says, thanks for the stream, Brian. Oh, you're welcome, Dan. Yeah, I'm sorry, but we're at like 2 hours and almost 5 minutes now. I really gotta go. My family's downstairs, and I think they want to talk to me. I should talk to them too before I go to bed and go to work tomorrow morning. So yeah, guys, thank you so much. And yeah, you say thanks for the stream. DeRosa, you say thanks, my dude. Well, thank you, DeRosa. I really appreciate it. And hopefully next stream we'll be at 40 subscribers, and I'll make you first thing a moderator. Um, Epic says, yes, hate Morgan and Fear. I hate that Fear makes characters pacifists. It's annoying. Yeah, they did that with Daniel, Alicia, everyone. It's Gimple's finest writing here, I think. Dan says, now Daniel too, exactly. DeRosa says, I honestly don't care about the Commonwealth. Well, I mean, I care about it. I do like parts of that story. Dan says, Alicia painting trees doesn't help either, but it's Alicia, so I can't be mad at her. Yeah, exactly, DeRosa. Even if she's painting trees, I love Alicia too much to hate her character, but I am a little bit bored. So yeah, even when she's boring, I don't hate it. Epic says, Dog better make it to season 11 or I'll be angry. Same, Epic, absolutely. If Dog dies, we riot. Dan says he will, at least he better. I agree, Dan. Let's see, Epic says, can I be a mod? Yeah, sure, Epic. I gotta make DeRosa, I promised DeRosa first, when I hit 40 subscribers, but yeah, I think I'll make you a second if you want, if you're okay with that. Dan says, good night to everyone here. This was a fun stream. Well, thank you, Dan. Yeah, this was really fun. Thank you guys so much. I'm surprised Eastside Badger couldn't come, but that's okay. We had a busy night, guys. We talked about 3 episodes and a lot of other topics. So yeah, guys, this was just crazy. I loved it. Thank you, DeRosa, Megamat, Dan, and Epic Zombie Killer. I really appreciate it. So yeah, guys, take care, stay safe out there, and have a good night. Each and every one of you, be safe out there. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the next stream and for more live streams to come. Oh, Epic, you say great stream. See you next time, bro. Well, thanks, Epic. Yeah, guys, I'll see you next time. Take care. Have a good night. Bye.